Good morning, everybody. 9 a.m. on this Wednesday, May 6th. Thanks for tuning into Daybreak as we continue to stream for another half hour here on WGRZ Plus. And starting the news this morning, a cold case killing more than 40 years old in Chautauqua County could be one step closer to finally being solved. Investigators now believe an unidentified woman's death could be tied to a notorious serial killer. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office only refers to this woman here on your screen as Ellery Jane Doe. Her body was found in the town of Ellery back in December of 1983. Officials say she was beaten, shot, and left to die in a rain-filled ditch near Highway 17. And now, more than 40 years later, investigators learned that notorious serial killer Christopher Wilder may have been spotted in New York City 2 days before the woman's body was found. Wilder, known as the Beauty Queen Killer, is tied to the murders of at least 8 women. So investigators are now saying an interaction between a man and a woman in New York City may have involved Wilder and Ellery Jane Doe. Wilder died 4 months after this in a shootout with New Hampshire State Police in April of 1984. The sheriff's office says that they want to speak to anyone who believes they may have encountered Wilder in Western New York in the early 80s. Buffalo Comptroller Barbara Miller-Williams is appealing the state Supreme Court decision against her concerning her authority over the city's borrowing practices. Now, that decision last month was the result of her first appeal of the lawsuit brought by Councilmember Mitch Nowakowski and former acting mayor Chris Scanlon. The suit came after the comptroller refused to borrow money to fund capital projects approved by the council. Miller-Williams claims that she is committed to protecting the city's long-term fiscal stability. We did reach out to the city leaders for comment, and we're waiting to hear back. A Williamsville man faced a judge yesterday in federal court and could possibly see 20 years in prison for allegedly orchestrating a Ponzi scheme that defrauded investors out of tens of millions of dollars. Woodhill Capital president Richard Teplitsky was arraigned on federal mail and wire fraud charges for his alleged role in that Ponzi scheme. 2 on your side's Nate Benson has more.
Hey there, good morning. There were some pretty surprising details revealed in court. The first, the scheme has been going on since the 1990s. The stakes grow higher for the man accused of carrying out a massive Ponzi scheme, not at a New York City hedge fund, but at a small Western New York investment firm. The new details even surprising for UB law professor Christine Bartholomew.
According to his own description, this had been going on for 30 years.
71-year-old Richard Teplitsky, the president of Williamsville-based Woodhill Capital, was arrested Monday, then arraigned in federal court on Tuesday on mail and wire fraud charges. The scheme was relatively simple. According to the complaint unsealed in court, Teplitsky would solicit to investors that their funds would be used to finance loans to businesses that were seeking to borrow money to acquire commercial equipment. But prosecutors claim virtually none of that was true. When Teplitsky met with FBI investigators, he said that only 5 to 10% of those loans were legitimate. The rest, according to Teplitsky's own interview, were fake.
Usually we just have Ponzi schemes where money is being used to pay off another investor. There's another layer here. The Ponzi scheme was performed here also by creating fake loan documents, recycling past loans and just updating the dates for those equipments. That's taking this to another level that goes just beyond this traditional paradigm of a Ponzi scheme to true fraud.
Teplitsky also told the FBI that the scheme started back in the mid-1990s after Woodhill did not have enough money coming in from borrowers to make the payments that were due to Woodhill's investors. That's when the fictitious loans were created. When investor payments stopped suddenly in March, one of the investors got curious
and did something that was, I think, somewhat extraordinary. When they didn't get the answers that they wanted to know about what was happening here, reached out to the companies to whom they were supposedly lending money, and figured out through a series of registered letters and back and forth that all these loan documents had actually been fabricated.
According to the unsealed criminal complaint, Teplitsky told the FBI that there were approximately 170 to 190 investors with Woodhill who were owed tens of millions of dollars in principal and interest from loans that their money had funded. Back in early April, 14 investors filed a lawsuit against Woodhill Capital, saying that they lost about $13 million. But sources tell me that now as many as 100 investors have been defrauded as much as $60 million.
This is surprising, and maybe because it's also in our backyard. We love to think of this is something that happens in big cities and with sophisticated lenders, and this wouldn't be just for us, but this reminds us very much of how investment fraud, this type of Ponzi scheme, is something that can happen anywhere.
Teplitsky was released from custody on Tuesday afternoon, but was fitted for an ankle monitor and home confinement. He also had to surrender his passport. He was issued a court-appointed attorney during the arraignment. Neither one of them had anything to say on their way out of the courthouse. On your side, Nate Benson, Channel 2 News.
Fascinating details. Well, a jury in Massachusetts has reached a verdict in the assault case involving NFL player and former Bills wide receiver Stefon Diggs.
On count one, strangulation or suffocation, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
On count two, the charge.
Yeah, he was found not guilty on all counts. Diggs was arrested and accused of attacking his private chef at his home last December. The chef worked for Diggs and lived in his home. The trial lasted only one day after opening statements, and the jury deliberated for only 90 minutes before reaching its verdict yesterday.
People have to stop targeting professional athletes and trying to extract money. They have a target on their back, and it's hard enough doing what they do. And this has to stop. People should focus on real victims from domestic violence, and allegations like this do a tremendous disservice to those who are really afflicted and impacted by causes like this.
The New England Patriots released Diggs after the season. His lawyer said that he hopes an NFL team will reach out to him now that the case is behind him. All right, 9:06 on Daybreak, 45 degrees, Patrick, and you know, this time of year we're analyzing how the draft went.
I know.
Thinking about rookie minicamp starting on May 9th.
I have paid apparently we would have been talking rookie minicamp like you just said.
Yeah.
Over and over and over, and I forgot it was even happening.
Right, I think it's starting on Saturday.
It is.
The 9th, yeah.
And undrafted free agents, they come in as well. And there's a lot of good storylines there. But we've been a little overshadowed by, what's that?
I said, I don't know them.
Yeah.
These storylines.
They're bringing in a wide receiver as an undrafted free agent. I forget his name, who was like a lauded high draft pick years ago, but ran into some issues. And not Antonio Brown, no. I forget his name. He's with the Bengals, and then he was released by the Bengals, and the Bills are kind of giving him a second chance to see if he can make something of his career. So
but we don't know his name.
Not a clue.
All right.
It's out there.
I'll look it up.
I should know it. Anyway, yes, it's true. We've been mired in another sports franchise that is on to great things, and the Bills hopefully on to great things too. Want to quickly start with this as we move forward. Of course, we're going to talk about the party in the plaza tonight where the weather should be okay. Look at all this snow down here in Denver. It can snow this time of the year, but this is pretty heavy for this late in the season. At least 4 to 6 inches expected in the city, far more in the mountains. And then you can see the rain beginning to push out of here. As expected, by about 10 o'clock, it should be completely over with, at least in far western New York, eventually clearing out of the Finger Lakes too. But as we head into the afternoon, there might be just an isolated shower that still pops up. So just be aware of that. But you can see the shield of rain. By the way, the airport is now at 1.1 inches of rain for this rain that began yesterday late, and it's still continuing. So impressive rains. Notice this afternoon, a couple little showers may pop up, mostly dry for most, but again, just a chance. Now, as we head into tonight, it's going to be a dry night tonight, down into the 30s. Tomorrow, we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds and then some bright sunshine. But the clouds will build a bit in the afternoon, and you'll notice a few isolated showers are possible as we head into the afternoon and evening, and maybe a similar setup for Friday too, with a better chance for the southern tier. And then as we head into the weekend, better chances of rain coming our way. Here's kind of a look at this afternoon. Notice a little shower potentially right over Buffalo. Maybe this is 5 o'clock. That's if this is, accurate. These simulations do a good job, but not always perfect. But it gives you an idea. The threat of an afternoon shower is there for later today. High temperatures today will be in the low 50s, and tomorrow we're going to be in the low 50s as well. So The morning rain giving way to mostly cloudy skies, cool with an isolated shower. 7-day forecast, kind of timing out the rain for the weekend. It appears that Friday night into Saturday morning, there's going to be some rain. It looks like a lot of it will come Friday night. That would be good. Then that'll dry out Saturday. Then the next system we'll watch is approaching Sunday. I will say this, we have it as a rainy day. I do believe right now that it should be later in the day. And if that were to occur, we may have to lift this Sunday temperature up quite a bit if that rain is delayed, which would mean we're in kind of the warm sector, if you will, and temperatures could climb into the 60s. But rain will come. It looks like Sunday afternoon, Sunday night with cooler wet. Look, Melissa, we'll look at next week, low 50s.
I know, it's really sad that we're saying the warm sector is climbing up all the way into the 60s.
Can I say something? I went and looked back at the last 20 years of Cinco de Mayo's. All of them were in the 50s and 60s, except 2 years. Okay. So early May has a history of being a bugaboo.
So you're saying we've had warmer St. Patrick's Days than Cinco de Mayo's?
Yes.
Because last year was in the 70s.
You're right. Last year was one of the years we did. I think we hit 71, the Cinco de Mayo last year. But then the years before that were much, much cooler.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you know Cinco de Mayo last year was in the 70s? That's great.
No. I said St. Patrick's Day last year.
Okay. That too. Cinco de Mayo last year was warm.
Oh.
But then before that, it's been kind of a cool pattern for most recent memory.
A lot of folks are usually opening their pools right now. I mean, by the end of May and Memorial Day weekend, I mean, that's summertime.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping
we'll get there. We're just kind of limping with crutches out of this spring into hopefully a warmer pattern soon, but not anytime real soon.
Okay. Well, weather is limping. Hopefully the Sabres players, though, will be firing on all cylinders and have a lot of energy and a lot of grit for tonight for Game 1 against the Montreal Canadiens. Now, how are Canadian fans reacting to this Buffalo matchup? We're going to talk to a Montreal business owner who doesn't want anything Buffalo affiliated with his restaurant. We'll talk to him coming up right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's 9:14 now on Daybreak, and take a look at this. Niagara Falls decided to show love to both sides of the border and both teams in the NHL playoffs right now. It is a special light show at the Falls yesterday. This was the American Falls illuminated in Sabres blue and gold. And then at the same time, the Horseshoe Falls on the Canadian side, that was lit up in Montreal's red and white. So yes, even Niagara Falls is divided right now. But there's a pub in Montreal that is striking quite a different tune. Not so much love for Sabres there in Buffalo. Joining us now live on Zoom this morning is Jim Beauchamp from Cunningham's Pub in Montreal. Thanks for being with us this morning, Jim.
Hey, Jim, thank you.
Good morning, Melissa. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is Patrick. So what we're hearing, why we wanted you on with us today, is that apparently you are banning Buffalo from your establishment in some way. How is that? What's the story here?
You know, Patrick, we're lucky enough that we won best chicken wings in Montreal for the last 4 years. So we sell a ton of chicken wings, and our number one sauce was buffalo wing sauce, right? So I woke up Monday morning. I said, how can I do that? How can I be a lifelong Montreal fan and put anything buffalo on my menu? So we're banning the buffalo wing sauce, the buffalo wraps, the buffalo poutines, the buffalo chicken burger, and we're changing the names. And we're still going to serve the sauces, but it's not going to be called buffalo anymore.
Yeah, you've got to still keep them on the menu in some way because they are so popular. And apparently yours are very tasty, too, with having such good buffalo wings in Montreal. But, Jim, now I feel like we all need to throw out our Montreal steak seasoning from our cabinets.
I know. I'm trying to think, how do we get back at them?
Right.
Montreal steak spice.
Yeah, and so we have poutine here in Buffalo, and we're certainly not going to throw out any of our Canadian beers that we have in our fridge.
Heavens no.
Not here. But
Right.
What is it? What's the Canadian delicacy? Is it smoked meat that you all have there?
Yeah, Montreal smoked meat, poutine, obviously, stuff like that. But it's, I do it. It's so much fun to do this because the feedback I'm getting on the Instagram and the Facebook from a lot of people from Buffalo, and it's all in jest, it's all in fun, obviously, but the passionate fans out there, the Montreal fans and the Buffalo fans that are responding to this, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. But I don't think you guys, do you have good smoked meat in Buffalo?
We have no smoked meat.
No. I was trying to figure out. Well, we've got
barbecue,
barbecue,
like smoked brisket.
Hey, so Jim, what about this? You might have heard that 2 weeks ago during a home game against the Bruins, our anthem singer, Cammie Clooney, was singing the Canadian national anthem. Her mic went out, and the fans stepped in and sang the anthem beautifully. And I got to believe that had some kind of emotion struck by you in Canada, right?
Yeah, unbelievable. Listen, all the Canadian remarks of Montreal fans brought that up, and like I said, you guys played a national anthem before every game too, and that singing was just unbelievable. So like, I keep this non-political at all. We love Buffalo. We love our American friends. But guys, when it comes to hockey, you guys invented wings. Montreal invented hockey. So when it comes to playoffs, everything, we're friends, but it's still Montreal Canadiens hockey playoffs.
Yeah, we're friends off the ice, but on the ice, It is definitely a rivalry, and there's going to be a lot of passion out there amongst the players tonight. Now, do you anticipate a lot of Canadian fans driving here to Buffalo, crossing the border, and getting tickets? Because I know ticket-wise, price-wise, Montreal is number 1 with prices of tickets, and Buffalo is number 2 with prices of tickets, but we are less expensive than Montreal is right now. So what do you think about fans traveling? Should we be worried about a lot of red in our blue and gold stadium?
We have a great traveling crowd, but I've been watching a lot of the TikToks, a lot of Instagram stuff from your house, from your barn, and the fans saying, do not give up your seats, support your team. And, that's passionate hockey fans, right? Those are people like Tampa Bay tried doing that, but we're still half the crowd was Canadians fans, Florida. But I'm telling you, Buffalo, I believe Buffalo is going to support their barn and keep the crowd, all their crowd. But Montreal, there's so much nightlife here. You should see it. The streets are packed. Game day, whether in town or not, it's a great vibe, as I'm sure Buffalo is too. It's just a great vibe for the town, and it's fantastic for small businesses like me.
Yeah, and I mean, Buffalo has waited 20 years to be in round 2 of the playoffs for this Stanley Cup. And the Canadians, though, have waited a long time, too. And you are the last Canadian team standing in the NHL right now. So I'm sure that your city is going crazy. And perhaps Buffalonians will want to take that 6-hour drive also to Montreal and see the beautiful things that your city has to offer, just hoping to infiltrate your Bell Center with a little blue and gold.
How do you think this series is going to go?
We love everybody to be here. We welcome all Buffalo fans up here, especially outside the Bell Center. Even if you can't get tickets, because the season tickets are so crazy at the Bell Center, right? But even standing outside the Bell Center, just the vibe of downtown Montreal, old Montreal, it's really nice. So welcome, all the Buffalo fans, come on up and enjoy the 2 games. Unfortunately, we're going to be ahead by 2 games after we leave Buffalo. So I hope you guys don't feel too bad, but come down here and party anyways.
All right, very good. And finally, Jim, as we are 10 hours from face-off right now, how do you see the series going between the Canadiens and Buffalo?
I say, lifelong Habs fan, I say Habs in 6. I think it's going to be one of those weird series where the Habs take 2 games in Buffalo. Buffalo takes 2 games here, and then it's 1, and then we take the next 2 after that. I think it's going to be Habs in 6. It's going to be a heck of a series, though. Buffalo's got a big team, strong team. We got to play our hearts out, and our stars have got to score. Like our Caulfields and Suzuki's, and those guys have got to score, and I think they will. I think it's going to be a heck of a series, though. Yeah,
I agree. And Buffalo is very good on the road with sweeping the Bruins in that last series. And also, it's very interesting to me when I was looking up, the Boston Globe to see what the Bruins were saying about and what Boston was saying about Buffalo. There were no articles at all about hockey with the Boston Globe. And so I think it'll be fun for Buffalonians to know that they're matched up against the Montreal Canadiens that are just as passionate about their hockey team as our city is for our hockey team. So it's going to be a passionate series for sure. 2 teams equally matched on the ice. But we wish you the best of luck serving your Montreal wings at Cunningham's in Montreal. And yes, we'll be throwing out our Montreal steak seasoning from our cabinet.
It's so good, though.
It is.
It's so good.
Maybe we'll just change the name of it. All right. Jim Beauchamp.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Best of luck to you. To him. Not to his team.
You probably can't. We'll go to break here, but 2, he thinks we'll take the home team will not be victorious.
We will recap coming up in just a bit. Stay with us. Welcome back to Daybreak. It is 9:23, 45 degrees out there, and you see that countdown, 10 hours, 11 minutes, and 36 seconds to face off this day, almost 20 years in the making. The Sabres finally heading into round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. For just 10 hours from game 1. The excitement's certainly building. KeyBank Center is ready. The towels are on the seats, and Daybreak's Natalie Foss joins us live from inside the arena with the latest before the puck drop.
Well, here in KeyBank Center, I have a special surprise for you. This is tonight's special rally towel for game 1 of round 2. It says Buffalo versus everybody. So if you were lucky enough to get a game ticket, you will be getting one of these. They've really become a staple part of this playoff run. And another thing that has become quite a big staple in terms of getting fans pumped up is the Blade Gang. The group of childhood friends and hockey teammates have garnered global attention on social media for rollerblading in full gear to the Sabres playoff games. For all of their hard work energizing the fans and bringing some positive attention to the team, some Sabres alumni invited the Blade Gang to share a meal with them at Chef's, which is a Sabres player favorite and a tradition for them. The Blade Gang obviously accepted that invitation.
And it's an honor to be invited out by Chef's, let alone to see the Blade Gang take off this far, and to be here with the Chef's family, inviting us out, sharing a dinner with a couple of Sabres legends.
For us to get together as alumni with the Blade Gang is exciting. I mean, these guys have caught social media by storm. They're engaging and pulling a lot of kids around their age back into it who haven't been able to experience this.
That was Michael Pekka, who you just heard from. He was the captain of the 1999 Stanley Cup final team, and he says that the Blade Gang is really leading the charge when it comes to reigniting excitement for hockey throughout the city of Buffalo. He told us that connection that the Sabres players have to fans is something that's really special and unique, and it really helps to connect both city and sport together. You've been hearing us talk about it all morning. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock tonight here in KeyBank Center, and I'm just missing a few of my friends in order to fill it up, and well, the team on the ice as well. On your side at KeyBank Center, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
What a crew there at Chef's with all of those Sabres alumni, Danny Gare and Michael Pekka and so many others, and fun to see them embracing the younger Sabres fans, these guys in the Blade Gang who have never seen or remember the Sabres this far into the playoffs, who are really embracing it and channeling the younger Sabres fans.
And Michael Pekka, of course, coming that season, Pete and I were reflecting earlier about that was the whole no goal.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, that it was in game 7 and over. I mean, I can't imagine.
It's the hockey equivalent of wide right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure. But I just don't, I can't imagine what you all as fans went through during that. It's insane.
No, it's just this Buffalo curse.
Right. But it wasn't necessarily realized until later.
Oh, right.
Like the game was over. They're like, wait a minute.
The review was not so as in depth as we have it now.
Okay.
Right. Some other fun things that'll be happening. Oh, and by the way, the rally towels. I love that they're doing it for every single game with a different. A different motif on the rally towel for every game. Can you imagine if you're a season ticket holder or lucky enough to be able to go to every game and you just have this set of rally towels from every single game?
That'd be cool.
That's pretty cool. But also Wyatt Russell, who's Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son, who is a hockey player and then has his podcast and his line of beers. He was here and he ran into the lake with other Sabres fans for the last round. He's going to be at Hofbrauhaus tonight.
Oh.
And he is doing some sort of parade with Sabres fans going from Hofbrauhaus to the arena. And so that's going to be happening somewhere around 6 o'clock tonight before the game. But the reason why he jumped into the lake was because he had said much earlier in the season that Sabres are never going to make they're never going to make playoffs, and he'll jump into and his dad said jump into the lake or something like that. But then he had the most beautiful things to say about our city, that he came here, he really embraced the team.
Because he grew up in Ontario, correct? Or went to college there?
But he just said that the people in Buffalo and the vibe in Buffalo is so likable, and the team, is so scrappy and gritty and built its way back. And so really had wonderful things to say. So it's nice to see him coming back here too and giving a little bit of national love to
Maybe he does the drum tonight, maybe? Could be.
That's a possibility.
Could be.
Because we really don't know.
We don't know.
It might be him.
It's hard not to think that they bring back throwback players. I mean, I shouldn't call them throwback.
Alumni.
Past players, alumni, right. Since a lot of them are in town, obviously, but maybe it could be.
Yeah, we shall see. A lot of unknowns. Is Alex Lyon going to be in net because he's been doing so well? Right. Sam Carrick, who practiced yesterday and has been cleared to play but is still day-to-day. When will he be in the lineup? Who's going to bang the drum? So many questions, and all of those questions will be
Now,
answered
are you going to
shortly.
listen to the broadcast on whatever network it is, or are you going to listen to
Yeah, I know. It's
Rob Ray?
Right. None of the games are on MSG
Dunleavy.
anymore, but Dan Dunleavy will have the call with Rob Ray on the Odyssey app for WGR 550. So you download the Odyssey app and you...
It's just so different to not hear them. I'm sorry. I can't
but
get
then you
used to
put it on TV and then just pause it, and then as soon as you hear them like drop the puck and the
Just go,
first play,
go.
then play. And so you've got to...
But you can't be off.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
1 second, one way or the other, how frustrated
gosh.
I'm gonna be.
Right.
I can't do it.
I don't know. You get, it's just like an old friend. You want to hear those two. I
bet a lot of people will be doing
Yeah.
that. But again, you can watch it on, I think, TNT, True TV, and HBO. So anyway, well, however you're going to watch the game tonight, go Sabres, and we'll have all of the reaction tomorrow on Daybreak.